Video, I wanted to show you a really nifty setup that I use when I really have very limited time. And the best thing about it is you only need 6 poles, 6 coffee cups, and a ton of imagination to get a lot done with your horse. And again, this has really made a difference. So I'm just going to walk through. The grass is a little higher than I wanted, but I still wanted to get the information out because it's so much fun. So as you can see, I have 6 poles. You can also make these out of PVC pipe if you're handy. I'm not handy, so I just went on and invested in the poles. So nothing fancy, just something to go around. And then to make it a little more tricky is I got these coffee cups from Amazon. And what I'm going to do with this exercise today is work on straightness, because the cups are approximately 3 feet away from the poles. And the idea with this is that I am going to make Juju walk between the poles and the cups without going outside of either one. So with that, I'm going to go on and get him packed up and we will get started. I've got Mr. Juju out, so I'm going to take him over to the mounting block and hop on him and we'll get started. Right now it's 7:14 in the evening, so by the time I get on him it will probably be about 7:20, and let's just see how much we can get done in well under 10 minutes. Just to keep it real, I do have to do a little warm up with Juju because he is very, very lazy. So I need to make sure that he's listening, he's ready to work, and want to make this session as successful as possible. So I'll go in and just show you a couple things. I've learned this is part Clinton Anderson, part Richie Wingfield, and also part Michael Lyons horsemanship. So I'm going to cluck and then squeeze if he doesn't move. That time he actually moved off really nice. So just to kind of warm up his body parts, I'm just going to do some serpentines. So I'm going to pull, kind of get him to answer the telephone, is what Richie Wingfield refers to that, and then really follow up with the leg and really make him bend, and that's a combination of Michael Lyons and Clinton Anderson. So again, I'll do this at the walk first. He wants to go toward the right, so whichever direction he wants to go. This is a big Clinton Anderson thing. I just make him go in the opposite direction. So I don't want him to think that he can go wherever he wants to. He's got to pay attention to me because we have a job to do and we don't have a lot of time. So I'm going to go this way. Again, something I learned from Michael Lyons, I'm going to pull and then brace with the opposite rein. So that kind of helps guide them over. So it's not just one strong pull in one direction, you follow it up with the opposite rein to kind of push his shoulder over. So kind of like that. So there, I'm going to push him, really work on that hip. He's not paying attention. So when he does that, I just make him go a little faster because I want him to really be responsive, because I don't want him to hate it and I want to have a good ride. So if we're both responsive and on the same page, I think that's important, because Juju's got a long life with me to have to work, and we want to have the best partnership possible. So we'll do some of that. Another thing that I like to do to kind of work on his shoulders, and again, I learned this from Michael Lyons and Richie Wingfield, is get them going, get their feet going so they're not sticky. And then from there, I'm going to ask him to move the shoulder over shoulder. There we go. So that's pretty nice. And the reason I'd start off with these things is I just want to see how well he's listening and what I might have to work on, because sometimes what you plan on working on will be totally different, because unfortunately Juju can't talk to me and tell me what he's going to be a little challenge in a day. That's what I love about this horse. You never know what you're going to get. I guess he's kind of like a box of chocolates, like from Forrest Gump. You never know what you're going to get with Juju. Okay, so what we're going to do is work on straightness. So I've got the poles on one side and I have the cups, the coffee cups on the other side, and my goal is to keep him in as straight a line as possible. So there he's kind of wallowing, so I'm really have to use my legs, and this looks it's a lot harder than it looks, because you really, anytime he barely moves, I have to make sure that my legs are ready, because I want to make sure I'm really driving him through there. And then when I turn, I'm going to make him turn that hip, so I get a little hip going. And then I'm going to do it again. And again, my goal is to keep him at a really nice cadence and as straight as possible. And I feel like he's doing pretty good. Is it perfect? No, but actually this is the first time I've ever done this exercise. So again, I really like it because it's going to help work on your straightness, your guiding, and this time instead of moving the hip, I can move his shoulder. So again, I'm still working on those fundamentals. Right, so now I'm going to see what happens at the trot. And again, this is going to be really crucial that I keep him between my legs. Okay, he kind of walked forward when I didn't want him, so I'm going to ask him to go backward, back, back. Clinton Anderson is really big on backing. It's the best way to get your horse's respect. Before you take him to the arena to work, you should just back him everywhere. And it's true, backing fixes lots of things. It fixes a pushy horse, it fixes a biting horse. You just have to have that respect. And Juju is better, but he can be disrespectful. So with that said, let's see what happens when we do it at the trot. So I'm going to cluck, squeeze. Good boy, Juju. Not quite as responsive, but again, we're going at a faster speed, so it's always a little bit harder. And then here I can turn him. Move that hip, move over hip. There we go. And then here I'm not in a good position, so I'm going to work on my side pass. Good boy, Juju. Because I made to make sure that I'm far enough away that I have time to get into the trot or the jog before I get into the poles and the comb and the cups. So here again, I can feel him kind of squirming, so I'm going to use my legs. Good boy, Juju. Really forward. He saw something there for a second. I thought he was going to skedaddle a little bit. But again, he is a horse, and I have to respect the fact that he's a horse and he will be a horse. So that's what I would work on, what I like to work on in terms of straightness. Something else you could also do is have a pole or mounting block or anything at the end so that you can focus on going straight towards that. But this is something I just picked up very recently, and it's the first time I tried it, and I wanted to share it with you. So hopefully that will help. Now something else that I can use the cones between the poles and the, I keep saying cones, the cups, is also work on just bending his shoulder in and out as I go through them. So again, it's going to be very subtle. So I'm going to get him in the middle, and then when I start to get to the second cup, I'm going to bend him there, then I'm going to straighten him out. When I get to the next cup, I'm going to bend him there. Again, just his shoulders. He went out a little bit, but again, we've never done this, and I can live with that. Basically, all I'm doing is just working on softening that shoulder and making him responsive by going from, well, that sucked. So let's try that again. So what that's telling me, when I do it the next time, I need to push him away from that pole because he's obviously bending toward there. So pilot air, let's try again. It's so important to get straightened out from the beginning. There he goes, I pushed him over. I'm gonna move that shoulder in. There you go. Move the shoulder out just a little bit. And what I'm really looking for is him bending, but more importantly, it's not a big bend, and he is maintaining his cadence. So with that, again, it's just taking a lot of the skills that all people typically work on with their horses, and we're just making it a little different, trying to change it up and use things. And the thing I like about this is the poles were expensive, but you can always buy PVC pipe and make your own. I'm not pretty challenged in that area, so I bought them. But I got these cups on Amazon, and I think it was like $12 for 6 cups. They're just camping cups, and they can stay out in the weather. They're not going to break because they're metal, and it's just something different. You know, you can use your imagination. That's what's the fun with all of this, is that it's really up to you in terms of your imagination of what you can do. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again on the next episode of Horse Talk with Juju Jujinski. I'm going to take him on in because the bugs are really bad in South Carolina this time of year. It's late and he's ready to eat. So he'll go out, he'll eat, he'll have his dinner, then he will go out into his pasture. He does have a stall that he goes in and out of, so he can go to his pasture 24/7. But at night we lock him out of the stall, but there is a shed row that he can get under. And he goes out with, he has a girlfriend who's also a paint. So they go out at night together, which is really nice because they bond and they get along really good. So with that said, thank you, and looking forward to seeing you next time.